Hello and welcome to The Well. I'm your host, Dr. Brendan Arm, Doctor of Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine, Chinese medicine herbalist, and founder, director of Lotus Integrative Medicine in Santa Monica, California. There's a wealth of health-related information out there, and I'm joined today by this wonderful group of integrative and holistic medical doctors and practitioners to share some of our favorite wellness tips. Please let me introduce you to Dr. Heath McAllister, naturopathic doctor and registered herbalist, Dr. Rob Krochmal, medical doctor and a practicing physician who is board certified in family medicine, nutrition, and integrative and holistic medicine, Bianca Rodriguez, a holistic psychotherapist, and Leona West Fox, a family practitioner trained as an integrative functional nutritionist with certifications in both nutritional medicine and herbal medicine. So let's begin. Today's topic is sleep.
I guess I would start off by saying that as far as sleep goes, I've found that, especially even in our young ones, our teenagers, and in adults, there's sort of an epidemic of lack of sleep. And it's not even so much insomnia, which is technically the inability to sleep, but I think that it may be more of just a lack of prioritizing and doing what we need to do to get enough sleep. And there's almost like a sense that getting more sleep is being lazy or not being productive enough. But as even Dr. McAllister, I think, alluded to in a previous episode, when we were even just talking about COVID-19, there are studies that show that deeper and more efficient sleep and better sleep leads to a reduction in all-cause mortality. So every extra hour of deep sleep you're getting is really not taking away from your life, but it's really adding on to the quality of your life now and in the long run. So it's quite an important topic in that way. Finding ways to improve sleep is really key.
I would just jump on that and say the research that I had looked into said that essentially if you're sleeping less than 6 hours or more than 9 hours a night, you have increased all-cause mortality, which means you could die from anything. Your risk of dying from anything is bigger if you're oversleeping, essentially. So what Dr. Rob said was correct. However, if you're oversleeping, usually in my mind, that's compensating for some other comorbidity. There's some other issue. There's some inflammatory condition. Your body's trying to heal and it's not able to fully heal yet. And so that's why that research would show that. And then if you're undersleeping, those repair processes, the cleanup crew doesn't have enough time to actually be effective. So that generally between 6 to 9 hours is where most people should be. If you don't sleep for long periods of time, you incur what's called a sleep debt. So it's almost like being in physical debt. You have to actually dig yourself out of debt in a way, meaning you might have to oversleep for a period of time up to 2 weeks to actually get back to baseline, and then a normal sleep pattern could happen after that. But I would also
sleepcation.
What's that?
I call that a sleepcation. When you need to wake up on sleep.
Yeah, sleepcation. Okay. I would also say that something that we're addicted to is our electronic devices. And so those really inhibit your melatonin production. Melatonin is the hormone that helps us get to sleep. So speaking to what Dr. Rob said, our sleep epidemic, how much of it is the fact that we are bathed in electric lights 24/7 and looking at little blue screens and looking at computer screens? And I think a lot of it has to do with that. And I think we also need an electronics vacation as well, especially a couple hours before we go to bed. We shouldn't really just be bathed in light and electronics.
Yeah, it's like sleep as medicine. So in nutrition, we say, food is medicine, sleep is medicine. I love these new kind of terminology like lifestyle medicine, circadian medicine, which is talking about how important it is that we think about like our wake sleep cycle and, and having good sleep hygiene or practices in order to really maximize sleep. The medicinal benefits of sleep, it is medicine just as much as food is. And also trying to stay away from blue light. You guys know I'm really into my blue light blocking devices and glasses and things. And then I'm all about sleeping in the dark. People are like, should I take melatonin? Well, first start sleeping in the dark. Get blocking curtains and or wear a mask. because when you are sleeping in complete darkness, your brain says, okay, let's start producing the melatonin. And if we're sleeping in any kind of light, then, you know, I kind of liken it to a computer that's just on sleep and not on shutdown. It's still, you know, your brain is still kind of like, okay, I'll just kind of check things out here. So it's like, first, let's sleep in complete darkness so we can maximize our own melatonin production.
In Chinese medicine perspective, would say that there should be about 8 hours a day when we're fully awake, and there should be about 8 hours a day when we're fully asleep, and there should be about 4 on either end, transitioning from one to the other. So again, you know, 8 when you're awake, and then 4 when you're transitioning to sleep, and then 8 when you're asleep, and then another 4 when you're transitioning from sleep back to wakefulness, because there's a lot of cycles in Chinese medicine. And that being said, they would say definitely be sure you're getting to sleep before 11. It'd be really nice if it was by 9, but certainly before 11. But once you start going over that 11 o'clock hours, one of the organs, the gallbladder in particular, starts getting deficient, and then we'll start to stagnate, and one tends to not produce blood very well, which will lead to anxiety and eventually depression. I hear what Leona's saying. Chinese medicine has a slightly different theory. They do like, of course, the darkness when it's nighttime, but again, and this comes from more of a Taoist perspective of, you know, staying in alignment with what's happening in nature. So the sun and the moon changes. Well, certainly the moon, you know, throughout the month. So some point when it's full moon, there may be quite a bit of light out. And when it's a new moon, there may be very little light out. So from a Chinese perspective, even though you may be getting to bed around the same time each night, if the light from the moon can penetrate through the glass or windows, that would be a little bit different from what Leona's saying, because it does say maybe on new moons, maybe it's very dark. But on full moons, there might be quite a bit of light. So somehow that has an impact on the pineal gland and the circadian rhythms. And that's just the month. Then there's also a rhythm of the day, and there's also a rhythm of the year, and et cetera. So but to make it simple, the 8 hours a day is a great goal, and getting to bed by 11 o'clock at night is a great goal, and not oversleeping. You know, say if you're saying I'm a night owl and you go to bed late, which in Chinese medicine, they say nobody's a night owl. You've just, you know, somehow gotten into there for one reason or another. And then if you get to bed very late, but then get up, you know, late when the sun is up, or it has been up for a while, that can also have some negative health impacts too. Okay, well, that's all the time we have for today. If you have a topic you'd like to learn more about, let us know with a comment on social media. And also don't forget to subscribe to our The Well YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us, and please join us next time for more wellness tips. Remember, regardless of where we are, our resources in The Well are limitless.